Mm-hmm. How are you guys doing? Sorry, I'm doing a live video because, this is just something I have to memorialize. Hi, dudes. I know you guys aren't expecting me to be on. I try not to get on my prep periods, but different times call for different responses, right? Yeah, so I know that a lot of you guys are not teachers, so but it doesn't matter if you're a teacher or not. This is not what this is about. I'm just telling you guys a little bit about what happened to me in my first period class today. Oh, first period was something else. So I teach 8th grade. Most of you guys know that already. And of course, we have a curriculum that we follow. We have a very strict curriculum, actually, that we follow and expectations for how learning is supposed to look in the classroom, right? Well, today, of course, I was highly prepared for my lesson. Stayed up except to about 12, not all night, except to about 12, finishing it up. And my students hijacked my lesson. They just took it over. They just, in the middle of doing the do now, which is the warm-up activity, we kind of get them ready to think. Someone posted in the chat, like, are we going to talk about what happened yesterday? And I always tell them, like, I can always bring up a controversial topic in class, but you're going to have to understand that I stay out of the discussion in terms of inputting my own thoughts. I ask guiding questions to kind of push their thinking and really see what they're trying to say. But I try to reserve my personal opinions because as a teacher, they just tend to think that everything you say is like quoted, like something that they can quote or something that they can rely on and use as like their own source of information. But the truth is I try to remain objective because I have students who are pro and students who are con with any issue, right? So to not isolate any particular student, objectivity is what works for me, right? So long story short, no, I'm not going to make a story short, but they were, I was getting ready to teach my regular lesson about, good morning guys, I see a couple of you on. I was getting ready to teach a lesson, of course, about how to read and do a particular skill with reading. Cool. And the students decided that it was more important to talk about what happened at the Capitol. Now, if this were my first year as a teacher, I might have been like, sorry guys, that's not what we're doing today. We have to stay on task. However, as a teacher who's been teaching forever, I realized that this was one of those opportunities that I just would not. Not that I could not have given it up, but I would not give it up. Because if my students are asking for something to be discussed, I'm going to take that and run with it. Because one, it is culturally relevant, right? This is happening in their society as we speak. Like, I'm quite sure a lot of them last night sat home thinking about this, trying to make sense about this, having questions that probably weren't answered, or just not being able to express themselves based on how their households are. And there was no way I was going to give up an opportunity to have them freely express their thoughts, because they're little people and they're going to be voting soon, and they're going to have to make decisions about our society. They're going to eventually be putting laws in place or voting for laws, and I think that it's important that we do not exclude them from the political discussions, simply because we can't expect them to not grapple with these ideas. Like, yes, it's controversial, yes, it's messy as hell, but there was no way for me to curb that discussion in a way that would not have them feel as if I was just kind of pushing their ideas to the side. And the discussion went from talking just about the fact that our nation's capital was violated into the police responses for Black Lives Matter versus what happened yesterday. Good morning. So they talked about that. So it went from the Capitol to the police response with Black Lives Matter to how the police responded yesterday. And then they started talking about the vaccine. And then they started talking about the president and how he incited the violence or they perceived that. I have just, like every year, these students just blow me away because they come to us and I think, sometimes we underestimate just how smart they are I mean, I don't underestimate how smart they are, but I can never know the depths of what they're really thinking, because sometimes there is no space for that in the classroom, right? Like, if you're not talking about that topic, it's probably not going to come up in your lessons, right? But if we allow our teaching to be flexible a little bit, that way we can accommodate the things that come up for our students. It makes for a more, like, a highly meaningful class time. Like, I literally had so many kids on the line, and there were some that were talking. Then there were others that were writing in the chat, and I'm like, wait, and and it was just so much. Like, it was the first time since remote teaching started that it felt like a classroom again. In the terms of not having to call on people as much, or having that excitement, like, where I can't get them to stop talking. Like, they're talking over each other online. Like, the interaction was so dope. Like, this was just an amazing start to my day. And I still have my lesson for my next classes, but if I can judge by how first period went, which it might be different because other teachers might be talking about it, so it might not come up again for my other classes. But if first period started like this today, then this day cannot go wrong. I am just so excited. All right, okay, let me calm down. No, I'm excited, damn it. Like, screw that. Like, you don't understand. As a teacher, you don't always get moments when you're or realizing that even the fact that they were so comfortable talking in my class just means that I've been, like, procuring this environment, right, of risk taking. Because the kids weren't talking. Oh no, they're always involved, but the level of involvement today was just so much more. It didn't require me to do a lot of facilitation, is what I mean. Like, I didn't have to interject too much. They were very mature about it. I didn't have to tell anyone to, like, watch their language. There was none of that. It was just like a freaking healthy, honest discussion, respectful, insightful. Like, it was I don't know, it just got me so excited. Like, ooh. Because now I see exactly how much I can push them. Like, if you can think like this, which they weren't willing to show me how deeply they thought, like, now that I know what you're capable of, it's over for you. Like, it's over. Like, we can attack these really big topics. You know, I did the death penalty before break, and now we're doing cancel culture. But now, like, if I can get enough resources, which I'm sure I can, if I can get enough resources for next week, this gonna be it right here, this topic right here. Which it might not be a very debatable topic, because I don't think anyone agrees with what happened yesterday. But hey, you never know. You never know. So I will be spending the weekend doing some research to come up with a nice, meaty question for them to grapple with. And life is just good. One of the reminders that I needed, yes, I agree. They do see what's going on, right? But I think a lot of the times we think that they're more concerned with their apps and their games and stuff, when the truth is, like, they might be playing these games and, like, seeming as if they're not sensitive to what's happening in the world, but they really, really are. And they are making oh, thank you, baby, you're so sweet to me. They are making those connections, right? Like, for them to, and I'm sure a lot of it is what they heard in their homes or if they watched the news, but the fact that they were able to internalize those ideas and kind of spit it back out, it's just amazing. I'm sorry, like, there's no other word for it. Because my 8th graders did the damn thing better than adults. I've spoken to adults and I did not get that kind of, like, high level. Like, ow, Miss Mandy's doing it up today. Listen, yes, and they have to give their own opinions. Like, they're not just here to absorb what I think. They're here to think for themselves. Like, I teach my children how to look at issues on a whole, right? Not just to look at one-sided issues, but we go deeply into looking. Yeah, girl, 8th grade. We go deeply into looking at issues. And there's always a day that I reserve for debate. Today was not the reserved debate date, but they decided that they wanted to talk about this, and I said, you know what? Go for it. Do it. Anyway, gotta go, guys. I just had to record that very exciting news with you. Now my little booger came out of her room, so I gotta go talk to her because she gets jealous. Don't pretend like you're not jealous, and don't try to leave. Come here. Come here. See? My booger. That's my booger rat. We call her booger rat. Come here, Kush. All right, guys. Y'all have the most amazing day. And I will see y'all when I see y'all. Probably Saturday, though, because I'll do a longer live on Saturday, okay? See y'all later. Bye, guys. Later, Parabliss. I don't know. Later, James. I will see y'all soon, okay?